Welcome everyone to the meeting of the Public Protection Licensing Committee, Tuesday the 13th of May 2025. I remind everyone present that this meeting will be live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and this recording archived for future viewings. I will now move on to the agenda for today's meetings. Item number 1 is apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies tendered?
None through to myself in Democratic, Chair.
Can I register Margaret Wilkinson's apologies, please?
Thank you, noted.
Right. Item number 2 is to receive any declarations of interest and the nature of such interest under the Council's Code of Conduct. Does any member wish to make any declarations? I obviously have to declare a prejudicial interest in item number 3, as I'm a member of the Welsh Church Act Estate Committee, and I was also a member of this committee, and I was present at 7 of the 8 committees starting in 16th July 2018, which are actually on the agenda. Therefore, I will leave the meeting and hand over to a Vice Chair to take you through the item 1, and I will join you later. Councillor Morgan, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, but similar observation, Chair. I'm a member of the Welsh Church Act Estate Committee, and I've been advised to declare an interest and withdraw from the meeting for this item.
Councillor Hamilton?
Right, I've been advised that because of my membership of certain committees, items 1 and 2, I will not be present at those meetings. Thank you, Chair.
Right. Okay, nobody else wants to declare interest?
Sorry, Chair, can I just clarify with Councillor Hamilton whether his interest just applies to the Part 1 item or to the Part 1 and 2 items? I'm thinking it may only apply to the Part 1 item regarding glebe fields.
Oh, right.
Because the second item is a Part 2 item.
Right, okay then.
Regarding a taxi driver, so I'm not sure whether you're declaring on that one as well, Councillor.
Right, no, you're right. Thanks for that. It's only in terms of item number 1, item number 2. I don't see that I have any. I wouldn't prejudice the outcome of that. So yeah,
Lovely.
it is only Part 1. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much, Councillor, for clarifying. That's great. Thanks, Chair.
So we will leave this meeting now, will we? And you'll advise us when to come back in, I presume?
So as you said, Chair, you would hand over the chair to the Vice Chair,
Yes.
as yourself and Councillor Hamilton and Councillor Morgan are declaring and leaving the room for this item. Myself or a colleague will give you a call once we have finished with that item. We will have moved into Part 2 then for the Part 2 item when you can obviously return for that item.
Right.
So we'll give you a call.
Right, thank you very much, and I'll see you all a bit later.
Right,
Thank you all.
Liz,
Hello.
Vince Driscoll just said he's just logging in, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Okay, can we carry on, Liz?
Bear with me a moment, sorry, Chair, one moment. I'm just confirming that councillors who need to leave the room for this item have managed to disconnect. Just bear with me a minute. Yeah, okay, that's great. Thank you for waiting there, Vice Chair. We're ready to proceed with the first item, please.
Right, thank you. Right, thank you, members. Item number 3 on your agenda is the report from the Monitoring Officer, Head of Legal and Democratic Services, regarding the application for the Register of Glebe Fields, South Road, Surrey, as a town or village green under Section 15 of the Commons Act 2006. Is Kirsty taking this one, Liz?
Jocelyn's going to take us through this item. Thanks, Chair.
Oh, Jocelyn. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair. This report relates to an application the Council has received in its role as Commons Registration Authority to register land, as you say, at Glebe Fields, Surrey, as Town or Village Green. We've had this application a little while, although we've undertaken certain notification procedures, i.e. notifying people who are who would have an interest in the application, but we're at the stage now where we need to progress it to a determination of the application in some shape or form. So therefore, we're recommending that that a non-statutory inquiry be convened to consider the application. As background, the application was made by a group calling themselves the Saving Silly 11 group. However, the land is owned by the council in its role as trustee for the Welsh Church Fund, and therefore the land's managed by the Welsh Church at the State Committee. In summary, they were notified of the application and they have objected to the application, which is more reason to deal with this sort of fairly and transparently and get it out as soon as possible to an independent chairperson who will, as we've discussed, convene a non-statutory inquiry to consider all the evidence. The objection, in summary, from the Welsh Church at the State is that not enough people have used the glebe fields for sport and pastimes. So the legislation says it has to be a significant amount of the inhabitants of an area, and they're saying it falls short of that. They've also raised a technical issue in respect of planning law, all of which will be considered at the non-statutory inquiry when it's convened. So the recommendation is to convene a non-statutory inquiry, and then we will appoint a suitably qualified independent chairperson who will probably almost certainly be from council, who will sit as chairman on that inquiry and consider the evidence. They will then prepare a report, and that will be reported back to this committee with the inspector's recommendations. There's a lot of information here. There's a lot of information in relation to the actual application. That's all on the report. I assume you don't want me to go into any sort of detail about that. I don't think that's necessary at this stage.
No, not at all. Not at all. Right.
As I say, the full objection, well, the full application and the full objection is attached to the report.
Right. Thank you, Jocelyn. Anyone got any questions for Jocelyn on this topic? Do we have any external people applied to speak on this, Joss?
I'm not aware of any.
No.
I notified the applicant that we would be coming to the committee today but I said, but I made them aware it was only on the basis of trying to move this forward and get it to the non-statutory inquiry stage.
Thank you. Councillor Franks, do you wish to speak?
Thank you. It's point of clarification. I understand that that the Welsh Church Act Committee acts separate to the council. I'm aware of that principle, but there seems to me that an awful lot, for an outsider, for us to appoint an independent chair of an inquiry, it's been done by the council's legal department, and is that a good look? Will people understand that the fine differences between the trust and the council when the trust is made up of councillors? So how can the members of the public be reassured that the independent chair is in fact independent and will judge the matter in an impartial manner? Thank you.
Would you come back on this, Joss?
Yes, certainly. We'll approach how we'll probably undertake this. We'll approach a number of council and ask, well, firstly, I suppose, ask about their availability. I mean, the very nature of their role is they're independent anyway. And further to that, further to the Legal Services Department, we're acting then as the registration authority. So hopefully that impartiality will be maintained via that. I mean, I don't see how else we can overcome a perceived perception of not being impartial. All I can say is that I'll probably end up in. I've been appointed into this role for this purpose. So I will instruct council, and we will select council from. Well, I would imagine. I think we have a procurement set up for all our matters when we need to instruct a barrister. So we'll probably select somebody from that list. There'll be an expert in that particular area, and they'll understand the need to be impartial in determining and making recommendations to the committee.
Thank you, Joss. Any other questions? Councillor Marshalsea.
I think obviously we just need to send this to the impartial person. I think like Councillor Frank said, that seems like the right thing to do.
Thank you. Well, we've had items like this before on the agenda. Long-term members will recall. We usually get about one a year, and we've always had the same outcome. It has to go to an independent review. I mean, Councillor Morgan has got legal background, but I don't know if any of the rest of it. I know I certainly haven't got enough legal background to make any sort of decision on this. So I think let it go to where people who do know what they're talking about. I think the only recommendation we can make is to go with the officer's recommendation to go for a legal independent review on this topic. Anyone?
I second that, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I think Councillor Hennessy did as well. Anyone against this? No. Thank you very much for that. I think you take that as carried, Joss, and we will go for the legal review, independent review. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think Liz can bring the rest back in now for the part 2 item.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. I'll do so. And we're also going to be contacting our driver applicant for the part 2 item. So if you can just bear with us for a little while we try and get hold of everybody and explain that, obviously explain to the applicant that we're now we've switched platforms. So it might be a few minutes, but yeah, just bear with us. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.